Economic growth is a fundamental concept in economics. It refers to the increase in the inflation-adjusted market value of the goods and services produced by an economy over time. Typically, it is measured as the percentage change in real gross domestic product, or GDP. Economic growth is usually calculated on an annual or quarterly basis. Economic growth is important because it indicates an increase in a country's production capacity. When an economy produces more goods and services, its citizens have access to a wider range of products and services, higher incomes, and an improved standard of living. Economic growth is essential for job creation, poverty reduction, and overall societal well-being. Countries that experience strong economic growth tend to see improvements in various aspects of life, including healthcare, education, infrastructure, and technological advancements. Economic growth is a key driver of human progress and is a primary goal for policymakers worldwide. Governments and central banks employ various policies to promote stable and sustainable economic growth. These policies often aim to stimulate investment, encourage innovation, and enhance productivity. Short-term economic growth focuses on increasing the utilization of existing resources. It occurs when an economy operates below its full potential and can increase output by employing idle resources or improving efficiency. One way to illustrate short-term growth is through the Production Possibility Curve, or PPC. The PPC represents the maximum combination of goods and services an economy can produce, given its resources and technology. When an economy operates inside the PPC, it signifies the existence of unemployed resources. A movement from a point inside the PPC to a point on the curve represents short-term growth. Another way to understand short-term growth is through the ADAS model. An increase in aggregate demand due to factors like increased consumer spending or the government expenditure can lead to short-term growth. This outward shift of the AD curve results in a higher price level and an increase in real GDP, signaling economic expansion. Long-term economic growth, on the other hand, involves an expansion of the economy's productive capacity. This type of growth is driven by factors that increase the quantity or quality of an economy's factors of production, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Technological advancements, investments in education and training, and increased capital stock are all contributors to long-term growth. The PPC model effectively illustrates long-term growth. An outward shift of the entire PPC signifies an increase in the economy's potential output. This expansion reflects an improvement in technology, an increase in the labor force or capital accumulation, enabling the economy to produce more goods and services than before. The long-run aggregate supply, or LRAS curve, also depicts long-term growth. The LRAS curve represents the economy's output at full employment. An outward shift of the LRAS curve indicates an increase in the full employment output level, reflecting long-term economic growth. Measuring economic growth is crucial for understanding the health and progress of an economy. Real GDP is the most widely used metric for measuring economic growth. Real GDP measures the total value of all final goods and services produced within a country's borders, adjusted for inflation. By adjusting for inflation, real GDP provides a more accurate picture of actual changes in production over time, as it eliminates the impact of price changes. To calculate real GDP, statisticians first calculate nominal GDP, which is the value of goods and services at current market prices. They then adjust this figure for inflation using a price index, such as the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, or the GDP deflator. The formula for calculating real GDP is real GDP equals nominal GDP divided by GDP deflator. Real GDP growth is a key indicator of an economy's performance, and it is closely monitored by policymakers, businesses, and investors. It provides insights into employment levels, income growth, and overall economic well-being. Section 5. The two sides of the coin: positive and negative consequences of growth. Economic growth brings about numerous benefits, but it also presents potential drawbacks. Understanding both the positive and negative consequences of economic growth is crucial for policymakers to strive for sustainable and inclusive growth. On the positive side, economic growth leads to improved living standards. As an economy grows, individuals tend to experience higher incomes, allowing them to afford more goods and services, improving their overall quality of life. Economic growth also contributes to poverty reduction. By creating new job opportunities and increasing incomes, economic growth can help lift people out of poverty. Furthermore, economic growth generates higher tax revenues for governments. As incomes rise and businesses flourish, governments collect more taxes, which they can then use to fund public services like education, healthcare, and infrastructure. This in turn further contributes to economic growth and societal well-being. However, economic growth can also have negative consequences. One significant concern is the potential for environmental challenges. Rapid industrialization and increased consumption can lead to resource depletion, pollution, and climate change, jeopardizing the planet's health. Another potential drawback is income inequality. While economic growth can benefit many, it can also exacerbate income disparities, with the benefits of growth primarily accruing to the wealthy, while those in lower income brackets may see limited gains. Addressing these potential downsides of economic growth is crucial. One approach is to measure growth using alternative metrics, such as green GDP. Green GDP incorporates the environmental costs of economic activity, providing a more comprehensive measure of sustainable growth. Section 6. Driving forces, factors influencing economic growth. Several factors influence economic growth, and understanding these factors is crucial for designing effective policies to promote sustainable development. The size and skills of the labor force are crucial determinants of economic growth. A larger and more skilled labor force can produce more goods and services, contributing to higher output. Investments in education, training, and healthcare are essential for developing a productive workforce. Investment in capital goods, such as machinery, equipment, and infrastructure, is another crucial driver of economic growth. Increased investment expands the economy's productive capacity, leading to higher output. The discovery of new resources, technological advancements, and improvements in labor productivity are also significant contributors to economic growth. For instance, China's rapid economic growth in recent decades can be attributed to its large and increasingly skilled labor force. Significant investments in infrastructure and technological advancements. On the other hand, Japan's economic stagnation in recent decades highlights the challenges of an aging population and slowing productivity growth. These examples demonstrate the importance of addressing demographic challenges and promoting innovation to sustain long-term economic growth. Section 7. Weighing the scales, a balanced perspective on economic growth. While economic growth is widely considered a positive indicator, it is essential to approach it with a balanced perspective. The pursuit of economic growth should not come at the expense of social equity, environmental sustainability, or the well-being of future generations. Policymakers must strive for inclusive growth that benefits all segments of society. Sustainable growth requires considering the environmental impact of economic activity and adopting policies that promote resource conservation and reduce pollution. Moreover, it's crucial to recognize that economic growth, as measured by traditional metrics like GDP, does not necessarily reflect improvements in overall societal well-being. Factors such as income inequality, environmental degradation, and access to healthcare and education also play a crucial role in determining a nation's progress. Section 8. Conclusion: Economic growth and the path forward. Economic growth is a multifaceted concept with profound implications for individuals, societies, and the planet. It is a powerful engine for progress, driving improvements in living standards, reducing poverty, and fostering innovation. However, it is vital to approach economic growth with a nuanced understanding of its potential consequences. Policymakers and citizens alike must strive for sustainable and inclusive growth that benefits all segments of society while preserving the environment for future generations. By carefully considering the factors that influence economic growth and adopting policies that promote both economic prosperity and social responsibility, we can create a more just, equitable, and sustainable future for all.